AI is everywhere, right? It's making huge decisions in everything from who gets a job to what medical care you might receive. So we have to talk about its biggest, darkest flaw, bias. We're going to dig into how these powerful systems can end up learning our own worst habits and, more importantly, what we can do about it. Okay, so this quote from Built In really just nails it. Think of AI bias as a mirror, but maybe more like a funhouse mirror. It's not inventing these ugly prejudices out of thin air. No, it's just reflecting our biases, the ones already baked into our society and our data. But here's the really scary part. It amplifies them, showing them back to us on a massive global scale. So where does this stuff even come from? It's really important to get this straight. The AI isn't evil. It's not sitting there making a malicious choice to be unfair. The bias actually sneaks in while it's being created. It's in the data we feed it, the instructions we give it. It's a bug, not a feature. To put a simple definition on it, AI bias is what happens when an algorithm gives you results that are consistently, systematically unfair. I love this analogy. If you teach a system with a crooked ruler, you can't be surprised when all its measurements are off, right? It's the same idea here. The output is unfair because the input was flawed right from the start. And, it's not just one single point of failure. Bias can creep in from so many different angles. You've got historical bias. That's when the AI learns from data that's full of old inequalities. Or selection bias, where the dataset just doesn't reflect the real world. Heck, even the developer's own unconscious biases can slip in. The main thing to see here is that this is a problem at almost every step of the process. Okay, so this isn't just some techie abstract problem we're talking about. This is real life. When these bias systems get put to work, they have huge and sometimes devastating effects on actual people. We're talking about someone's freedom, their job, even their health being on the line. Let's get into a really concrete example. In the U.S. justice system, a tool called COMPAS was used to help predict if a defendant would commit another crime. I mean, just think about that, an algorithm helping judges decide someone's fate. But a big investigation uncovered a really disturbing pattern. And here's what they found. The ProPublica analysis showed the algorithm was flat out wrong in a very specific, racially skewed way. It labeled Black defendants as high risk much more often than white defendants, even when they didn't go on to reoffend. And it was making the opposite mistake for white defendants. The system was failing in opposite directions for different races. And it's not just in the justice system. Look at hiring. Back in 2014, Amazon built this AI to screen resumes. Sounds efficient, right? Well, they fed it 10 years of their own hiring data. And what does a decade of tech hiring data look like? Overwhelmingly male. So the AI basically taught itself that men were better candidates. It started penalizing resumes with the word women's in them. Amazon had to shut the whole thing down. But the stakes get even higher when you look at healthcare. There was this algorithm built to spot cancerous skin lesions. An amazing idea. But it was only half as accurate for Black patients as it was for white patients. Why? The reason is just heartbreakingly simple. The data it learned from was almost entirely pictures of lesions on white skin. It literally didn't know what to look for on darker skin. The consequences there can be life and death. And this isn't old news. It's happening right now in the cool new AI tools we're all playing with. A Bloomberg study asked Stable Diffusion to create pictures of people in different jobs. The results? A perfect showcase of our worst stereotypes. CEO or lawyer, it generated mostly light-skinned faces. Fast food worker, darker skin faces. Men were doctors, women were teachers. It just reinforces these old, tired ideas. So all these stories, they're just different reflections from that same broken mirror we talked about at the beginning. Which leads us to the biggest question of all. What do we do about it? How do we fix the mirror? How do we get AI to reflect the world we want to live in, not just the one we already have? All right, so let's talk solutions. The first step, really, is to figure out what we're even aiming for. And in the world of AI, that goal has a name: fairness. So what does fairness in AI actually mean? Well, it's about building systems that are, fair. It means making sure the AI's decisions treat everyone equally, no matter who they are or where they come from. The goal is to design AI that doesn't penalize you because of your race, your gender, or your background. But how do we actually get there? It's pretty clear there's no single magic button to push. Instead, researchers and developers are putting together what you could call a toolkit for change, a whole bunch of different strategies to try and build better, more accountable AI. And this toolkit has a few crucial parts. First, you need a diverse team building the thing, right? People with different life experiences will spot problems others might miss. Then, the data itself has to be right. It needs to actually represent everyone. You also need a human in the loop, a real person who can check the AI's work and course correct. And this is huge. It never stops. You have to keep checking and auditing these models because the world changes and new biases can always pop up. And that's probably the single most important thing to remember here. There's no fix-it-and-forget-it solution. You can't just flip an unbiased switch. Creating fair AI is a marathon, not a sprint. It's this constant process of being careful, testing everything, and being ready to make changes when things go wrong. It's a process of improvement, not a final destination. Which kind of brings us full circle, back to this one big, lingering question. We're the creators. We supply the data. So if the source code of bias is in us and in our society, can the machines we build ever truly escape our own reflections? Can they ever be better than we are? That's really the central challenge we're facing as we build our artificially intelligent future.